Sarah had been through enough in life. Her husband, Mark, a soldier, had passed away in Afghanistan 3 years ago. Since then, she had worked 2 jobs, one at a diner and one at a local grocery, just to keep the lights on. Life had taught her strength, but not fearlessness. Eli, her 7-year-old boy, was her whole world. That's why when those men started circling around her car, she tried her best to stay calm. Just ignore them, she whispered to herself, her voice trembling. The tallest thug, Chad, his name stitched on his jacket, leaned against the pump beside her. "You're a pretty thing to be driving, such a junker," he sneered. "How about we take you for a real ride?" Sarah flinched. "Please, just leave me alone," she said softly, keeping her eyes on the pump. Chad laughed and flicked his cigarette to the ground. "Oh, she's polite too. Boys, I think we found ourselves a lady." The others, Troy and Nate, stepped closer. One of them peeked through the car window. "Hey kid," he grinned at Eli. "That your mama? She's real pretty." Eli shrank back in his seat, clutching his stuffed bear. That was the last straw. Sarah slammed the gas nozzle back into the pump, her hands shaking. "Don't talk to my son," she snapped, her voice cracking from both fear and anger. Chad smirked. "Or what? You gonna call the cops?" "Go ahead. We're just chatting." Sarah pulled out her phone, but before she could dial, one of them snatched it. "Oops," Nate said mockingly, holding her phone out of reach. "Didn't mean to drop it." He tossed it on the ground, shattering the screen. Sarah gasped. "Please. My son, he's watching." They laughed louder. At that exact moment, from a distance, a low rumble began to fill the air. It started faint, like thunder rolling over the highway. Then it grew louder. Closer. The sound of engines, deep and powerful. The thugs turned around, confused. Out from the curve of the road came a group of bikers, a dozen of them, roaring toward the gas station in a thunderous line. Chrome glinting, jackets flashing, engines growling like lions. Sarah froze. She didn't know whether to be relieved or terrified. The bikers slowed and surrounded the pumps. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man with a gray beard and mirrored sunglasses, killed his engine and looked straight at Chad. "What's going on here?" he asked, his voice deep and steady. Chad spat on the ground. "None of your business, old man." The biker tilted his head, eyeing Sarah. "Ma'am, you all right?" Sarah could barely speak. They took my phone. My little boy's in the car." The gray-bearded man looked around at his crew. "You heard the lady." Before anyone could blink, the bikers moved in. Not violently, but decisively. 2 of them blocked the thug's truck, another stood between Sarah and the men. "Hand her the phone," one biker ordered. Troy tried to bluff. "Hey, man, chill out, we were just talking." Didn't sound like talking, the gray-bearded man cut in. Sounded like harassment. The leader's name was Tommy Steele Carter, head of a group called the Guardians MC, a motorcycle club known for helping veterans, widows, and families in need. Chad laughed nervously. "You think you can just roll in here and—" Steele took one step forward. "I don't think." "I know." Silence. Only the hiss of the gas pumps and the quiet rumble of the bikes. Finally, Nate dropped the phone into Sarah's hands. "There. Happy now?" Steele nodded toward the parking lot. "Get lost. Before you're real unhappy." The thugs muttered curses and climbed into their pickup. Tires squealed as they sped away down the road. Sarah stood frozen, tears in her eyes, shaking. Eli peeked out the window, wide-eyed. Steele knelt beside her. "You okay, ma'am?" I think so," she whispered. "Thank you. I didn't know what to do. He smiled kindly. That's what we're here for. Nobody messes with a mother and her kid. Not on our watch. Chapter 2, The Guardian's Secret. The story could have ended there. But it didn't. Sarah thought she'd never see them again, those mysterious bikers who came out of nowhere. But the next morning, she found something strange taped to her door. It was an envelope with her name written in neat handwriting, Sarah Miller. Inside was a small note. You're stronger than you think. If you ever need us, the Guardians are only a road away. And there was something else inside, a check for $5,000. Sarah gasped. That money could change everything, fix her car, pay rent, cover Eli's school supplies. But who would give her that kind of help? She searched the name online, the Guardians MC, Denver chapter. What she found shocked her. The leader, Tommy Carter, was a retired Army sergeant, who had lost his daughter and wife in a car accident years ago. Since then, he and his biker group had dedicated their lives to helping single parents and veterans. That day at the gas station wasn't luck. It was fate. 2 weeks later, Sarah was at her job at the diner when the doorbell jingled. The familiar roar of motorcycles filled the air again. Her heart raced. Steele and 2 other bikers walked in, leather jackets, calm smiles. He nodded toward her. Afternoon, Sarah. She blinked. You found me? He chuckled. You left your address on that gas receipt. Guess it was meant to be. The other customers stared, whispering. But Steele didn't care. He ordered a coffee and sat at the counter. You didn't have to send the money, she said quietly. It was too much. Steele sipped his coffee. You've been through enough. Consider it a start, for new brakes on that old van of yours. Sarah's eyes welled up. You don't even know me. Steele smiled sadly. Maybe not. But I know what it's like to lose family. You remind me of my daughter. She was brave, too. The words hit her like a wave. She looked down, tears streaming silently. At that moment, Eli ran in from the back room, wearing his little red hoodie. Mom! Mom! Look who's here. Steele knelt to meet his eyes. Hey, buddy. You keep taking care of your mom, all right? Eli nodded shyly. Are you the biker angel? Steele blinked. The what? Eli smiled. That's what I told Grandma. That biker angel saved us. Everyone in the diner laughed softly. Steele's weathered face broke into a grin. Guess I'll take that title. Weeks passed. Sarah's life slowly turned around. With the help of the Guardians, she got her van repaired, found safer housing, and even started attending college classes at night. But fate wasn't done with her story. One evening, as she drove home from work, Sarah saw flashing lights by the roadside, a car crash. Without thinking, she pulled over. A man lay beside a motorcycle, bleeding but conscious. It was Steele. She rushed to him, panic in her eyes. Oh my God, Steele. He tried to smile through the pain. Hey, Angel's mom. Guess it's my turn to need help. She held his hand until the paramedics arrived. For hours, she waited at the hospital, praying he'd be okay. When he finally woke up, she was right there beside him. You saved me, he whispered weakly. She smiled through tears. No, you saved me first. He chuckled softly. Fair trade, then. Months later, when Steele recovered, the local news covered their story, how a biker gang once protected a single mother, and how she later returned that act of kindness by saving their leader's life. The video went viral. Millions watched, cried, shared. Reporters called it the day the angels rode. At the next Guardians charity event, Sarah stood on stage beside Steele, holding